Alright everyone, and welcome to the first week where I'm going to discuss your first assignment, the trees, and with obviously the leaves and the bush for the next video. But this one is on the tree, how to make and model the tree and the leaf. I'm in Maya 2015. Let's do it. Now, let's talk about it before we actually do it. And trees with their leaves requires a lot of actual polygons, so that we can afford. Obviously, when you have a full forest, it requires a lot of leaves, a lot of tree trunks, and that's a lot of polygons that the engine cannot at all move, basically, and process. So we had to find some trickery to make it happen. So number one, the tree trunk itself, 6 polygon, 8, at the max. You can start right here, by making a cylinder if you want to, and actually adjust the cylinder to, let's say, 8, and that could work. And then you can extrude that, what I'm saying, using the good old technique, the box molding technique. I'm going to show you, and extrude that, and it's really good. It's a little too good for me, what I'm saying. It's very perfect. 360, which, as we know in nature, it doesn't work like that. So I'd rather use a box for that reason, and also so I can show you other tools that you probably don't know or might know, to make your job easier. Now remember, usually in our virtual studio, our 3D virtual studio, we want to have at least 2 pictures, orthographically obviously, front and side most of the time. We want the picture that represents where the shape of the object is going to change the most. That's what we want. And we want them orthogonal, right? Now, sometimes you don't really need to have 2 pictures. Like a tree, for example, or a glass, or a tube, because it's a 360, what I'm saying, geometry. And that type of geometry, we kind of know how it is, and it's rounded, most likely. So it's, we don't really need 2. We can get away with 1. All right. The sword, for example, I know how thick a sword is, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So I can probably get away with 1 easily. You catch my drift? So let's do it with 1 only. Now, let me delete that. I'm not gonna save. Now I'm going to click on my space bar, and I'm going to go to the front view right here, put my mouse on it, click on the space bar, and I'm right here. Now what I want now is to create a plane. I'm going to drop right here. Alright, that is pretty much the size of my picture. Most of the time you're better off doing what I call a 1-to-1 situation, which is the texture is a power of 2. Because remember, the texture at the end is going to have to be a power of 2. So the picture, aka texture, you're going to use right now to model it should already be a power of 2. So like that, you can use pretty much the same scale. Okay? Now mine is not, and it's not a big deal, so don't worry. You can do it without it. But what bothers me right now is that this is behind the grid. So let's change that up, and we just simply are going to move it up on top of the grid. Click on F to zoom, and then we're going to move it forward right here into the positive quadrant, basically. Alright. Click on F on your keyboard to center it. Right click. Well, actually before that, sorry. Go to the input, click on polyplanes, and change it for your value of your picture. The thing is, this is really big. 530 by 760 would be humongous, which we don't want that. Alright, so what we're going to do is a base 10 system. So we're gonna move one comma on the left side. So it's gonna be 53 by 76. Alright. So we select our mesh. If it's not selected, select it. Go to the input, polyplane, and put in the width, alright, 53. And in the height, we're gonna put 76 right here. Click on F so you are zoomed onto your mesh. Alright, so now the size is done for your picture. Now right click, select assign favorite material, and again we're gonna select the Lambert. And the reason why is because Lambert is the only of all those shaders that does not have reflection or refraction or specular. So because of that, we're going to use it because we don't want to have any of these to distort our picture when we're going to use it to trace. It's that simple. So we click on Lambert right here. Alright. Now make sure, always create a new shader. Do not go and select the shader already applied by default and change its picture, because then every time you actually create an object, it will be actually that shader on it by default, and that's a pain. So go to the Lambert 2, or you can just right click right here and go to assign to material attributes right here, and that will open your Lambert 2. You can call it Virtual Studio, whatever you want. So we'll call it Virtual Studio. Alright. And then what we're going to do as usual, we're going to change the color, but by going to the file options right here, we're going to select file, and in the image name, we are going to select our picture. So let me go to my desktop, and face you demo, and palm tree right here. Right there. Alright. Click on 6 on your keyboard to show it. As you can see, it is not looking proper. I could actually use that, but it's not looking proper because, well, you know what? It's not projected. Maya doesn't know. So select your mesh right here, and look right here at the little gizmo. You have the green Y going up. So that would be a projection from the top. Nah, it needs to project just like a projector project on the screen, a real life projector. So from the top, that wouldn't work very well. The X right here, no, that wouldn't work very well either. Alright, the Z that you can't see, but if you go right here, alright, and let's move it up, alright, and click on 6, you can see the Z is the one you project from the front. You can see it right here. So what you do is you go to create UVs. That's the planar mapping option we are going to use. And you are going to select the options. The option of the planar mapping appears, and you go to project from X, Y, and we are in the Z, and you click Z, and you click apply. Bang. Now it looks proper. Alright. Don't worry about that. Clipping the camera. Alright, right here. That's just because I'm recording with a special software. So now it looks proper, and we can start modeling our object. I will see you in the modeling an object in the next video.